We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
When the Jews return to Zion, and a comet rips the sky, and the Holy Roman Empire rises, then you and I must die. From the eternal sea he rises, creating armies on either shore, turning man against his brother, till man exists no more. Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Coriander, here we are.
I like that. Yes, that was
nice. Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's such a creepy line in the movie that I had to pay respects to it. And here we are tonight. We're returning to The Omen. For those of you who have not been with us very long or first-time viewers, we actually did a review for The Omen and actually the entire series, which seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah,
we're talking, 9-10 months ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But they were very fun episodes, and we had great discussions. And we knew that we would come back to this series. I remember hearing great comments from some of our great friends, like Trenchy, like Eric, and some of those guys from back then. They really enjoyed the conversation. So we hope that we will be able to replicate that. But, I would be remiss to not mention one of the bigger reasons why I wanted to touch base with this. And it's actually a little sad, but we wanted to just take a moment to just honor and pay respect to the late, great Richard Donner. And, I had been waiting for a chance to acknowledge his passing, which was just a few weeks ago. And, again, I'd be remiss to not mention it because his movies really shaped my childhood and really made a big impression on me. Most people in our generation, So I just wanted to just play a quick little tribute. There's nothing I could really say that no one else has already said much better. There's nothing I could really show you that people haven't done a much better job in. But just for me and for you, Coriander, and also for Killian, who couldn't be here tonight, for our channel to just have a moment, just to pay respects to Richard Donner, who, by all accounts, was just a fantastic director. So anyways, guys, we're going to play a quick tribute. Hope you guys can hang around for that, and then we'll get into The Omen. So here we go. All right. Well, there's nothing really to say after that.
That was really good.
Yeah, some great movie moments. And, again.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, some of those movies, like half of those movies were movies like I watched when I was a kid. They were like my favorite movies. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He was really talented. So I wanted to make sure that we had a chance to at least acknowledge that. And let me get to the chat too. I know you guys have been waiting. Let's see. We've got Gorephobes in the chat saying, "Hey, yo, how you doing? How's it going, man?"
Hey.
We got Quasi in the chat saying, "Hello, Nightwatch and Corey and Killian. Okay, Damon, this is your new foster home. Good luck. We can't have a mate hanging themselves in front of the guests, can we?"
Oh,
yeah. We got Neon Black in the chat saying, "Hey, guys." All right. What's going on, man? Eric saying, Donner did so many movies when we were young or before we were born. I had forgotten that he directed this. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. We got Trenchy, and I knew Trenchy would say something about it. Rest in peace, Richard Donner, my second favorite director, one of the most versatile directors of all time. It's so true, man. I mean, you know, whether it was comedy, kids movies, you know, comic book movies, horror, psychological thrillers, you know, he had a way about doing it, and he was very good, and his characters usually spoke volumes, you know. So let's see, we got Frank the Harsh Truth. What's going on, man? Saying rest in peace, Richard Donner. He helped define filmmaking for decades. Absolutely, man. There's no doubt about that. Eric saying we gave a little moment of respect to Donner in our last episode as well. The man deserves it. Nice. Absolutely. There's no doubt. We got Flamethrower in the chat saying, I never realized Angus Young from AC/DC stole Damien's look. Yeah, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Trenchy saying he directed my favorite movie of all time, The Goonies, and so many other favorites of mine. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, The Toy, that was one of mine. Yeah.
Yeah. Strange Monkey in the chat saying Richard Donner was one of the best directors of all time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Eric saying awesome tribute night. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that. It was fun. It was difficult but fun to kind of go down memory lane. Drake saying hell of a tribute. Thank you so much. We appreciate that from all you guys. We really do. And we got Game Guy in the chat saying, hey all, hope you're having a good night. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
You too. Hope your night's going well.
Absolutely. Slasher Fred saying, and it's true, Richard Donner was also the producer for The Lost Boys. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man. He was great. He was great.
Incredible, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, not to belabor the point, but yeah, he will be missed. So, but anyways, let's get into The Omen. I mean, this story was just amazing. One of the classics. This thing starts off in the hospital with Gregory Peck, the great Gregory Peck, and Lee Remick as his wife. And they're in hospital, and she's they're trying to have a child, and it does not go very well for them, does it, Coriander?
No, it doesn't, man. You know, this would be any first-time mother, anyone's nightmare. You know, it's just
absolutely,
yeah.
I mean, so the baby died, and
stillborn, supposedly. Yep.
Yeah, and Kathy doesn't know that, but they tell Gregory Peck's character, who plays Robert Thorne, and there was another child that was born at the same time, and its mother died. So the idea was adopt this child. God has given you this opportunity to still have a child, all those types of things. So, you know, from that point, that's the starting point. That's the jump off point.
I mean, when they even showed Gregory the baby, you know, it was you know, he played Robert. It was like they even said, you know, the kid looks like you. It's like, wow, man. It's like they're really pressuring him to take this baby.
Yes. And, you know, so you have a lot of setup in the beginning to show Damien, you know, getting a little bit older. And of course, Robert, he gets appointed as the ambassador to the UK. So everything's looking great, in other words, you know, and you really, you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. And I think that this was, and again, this is a strength of Richard Donner's direction, because you're really pulled in to care about this family and so forth. But stuff starts to happen.
Yeah, you know, the realistic horror movies are the ones that, really get you, man.
Absolutely.
This is a real creepy one for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course the birthday party, which is that highlight scene that people always talk about, and I you know, the nanny is starting to act weird, and it's funny because now I rewatched this again. I've seen this movie so many times, but I rewatched it again,
right?
And I did notice one thing, or maybe I just took more interest in that moment, but Lee Remick had this moment where she kind of looked at the nanny suspiciously, almost as if she kind of had this weird vibe from her. And this is before the hanging. And I thought that was just a nice little touch. And again, Lee Remick was amazing in this movie.
Yeah, because she saw the reporter who was about to take pictures of her child with the nanny, and it made me think that she wants her child with her. She wants people to think that she's obviously raising this child and no nanny is raising it. You know what I mean?
Good point.
That's how I got it. Yeah.
Good point. Absolutely. And then the nanny sees our friend, our buddy here, the hellhound.
Yes.
God, he was creepy. I'm telling you, he was creepy as hell. No pun intended. But before we get to the hanging scene, I want to catch up to the chat just for a second, and then we'll kind of go for a few more minutes. But Cryptomary is in the chat saying Damien was such a nice name before this movie. Isn't that the truth?
Right.
Anytime I met somebody named Damien, I always looked at them sideways, Even
it's funny because it was funny because if I always was, said like if I had a boy, it's like I kind of like Damien. It's like why not, But I didn't have any boys, so I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I even have a cousin named Damon, and there were times when we would kind of poke fun at him or get a little creeped out, So my brother can tell that story, but yeah. So anyways, this was a great scene. It really, really was. Let's see in the chat. Let's see. Gorephobe saying Charles Bronson was going to play the Gregory Peck role initially. Yeah, and actually a couple others, and I'll get to that. We've got some fun facts that we'll throw at you guys. But yeah, so we have the scene where obviously she says, and I'll let you say it because you do such a great job. Just do the nanny thing.
Oh, jeez. It's all for you, Damien.
It's all for you. Creepy ass scene, man, still to this day. And it's done very well. It looks very, very good still to this day. This movie is 40-something years old. Isn't that crazy?
I love it still. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And like you said, I've seen it. I can't even count the times I've seen this movie, the many times. And it's just, I still love it. So,
yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, look at Lee Remick. She did some eye acting in this movie. Like, she looked petrified. But, that was a crazy scene. And again, it was done very well. But in this scene, you also get introduced a little bit to David Warner's character because he's the photographer. And he plays, obviously, a big role as the story continues. But you also get the priest, and he comes to Gregory Peck saying, I got to tell you about your son. And that whole scene, it was just crazy because, he's like, I have to tell you about his mother, Mr. Thorne. And I was like, these movies, look, people can say what they want about whether or not this movie holds up. I think it still holds up, and it has a very specific style to it. Okay.
Yes.
And I love that style. I really, really do. So
it has like that 70s vibe that those movies brought that obviously you can never try to, you can never do it over. You know what I mean? It's that time of period where it just can't be replicated.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Absolutely. And that creepy scene where they met in the park and he's basically like, this is the last time you'll see me. And he's trying to tell Robert about the prophecy and all that. And then Robert just basically says, kick rocks, and the priest is walking away. The sky is dark. It's thundering and all lightning and all this type of stuff. I thought the atmosphere in this movie was fantastic. And Jerry Goldsmith's
cinematography. Yeah. Definitely, man.
Yeah.
And the music. I mean, the music gave it even a more creepier vibe. I mean, it brought it to another level.
It really did. I'm serious. It really did. Jerry Goldsmith, he always delivers. Eric was saying in the chat, I've never seen part 3. Got to do that for Sam Neill alone. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
we had a good conversation on that, and we will definitely redo
Right?
that one. We will definitely.
Yeah.
Trenchy was saying, I love the atmosphere of this movie and just the loom and
Yeah.
gloom over it. Yeah, no, there's
Yeah,
no doubt.
man.
Yeah. Quasi says the 70s have that dream look to them that makes the films creepy and have a lot of dread. Absolutely, man.
Definitely.
But this scene when the priest gets killed, I thought, again, just very well done. Very well
Yeah.
done. You know,
Yeah.
everything was working. But
Yeah.
I can't forget about one of your favorite characters, Mrs. Baylock.
Yeah.
Um,
Right?
You know,
That
she
freaking
comes in.
creepy ass woman.
Man, she was so good in this role. I'm telling you,
Yeah, she was.
she added so much more attention to this. Played by Billy Whiteshaw. I'm sorry, Whitelaw. And,
I mean, look at her face right there. Like when she first got to the house,
yes.
all she wanted to do was like, "Can I meet your son now?" You
Yes.
know, she was like, "Yeah."
It was
like, wow,
it was creepy city. It was creepy city, and you know, and she actually just passed away a few years ago too. I think in 2015. But she did some interesting work. She did voiceover work, most notably in The Dark Crystal. She also,
nice.
I think her last role was in Hot Fuzz back in, I think it was 2013 or 2014. But anyways, she was great in this movie. Every time she was on screen, it was aces. It was aces, you know. But you know, you have the scene where she's basically defying Kathy about taking Damien to church. And I know you love that scene. What did you think of that scene?
Like when he was approaching and was flipping out? The part before that.
Yeah, before that.
Because she was telling her, you know, where's my son? Why isn't he ready? And she's like, oh, I figured we'd take him to the park instead. And she's like, no, you know, he's coming with me. Get him, let's go, get him dressed. And she's like, but I don't think, you know, the church is the place or a wedding, you know, whatever. And it was like, she's like, you know what? You got 5 minutes. Bring him to me. It was like, wow, look at this woman.
It's like,
yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And so they take him and they're driving. And again, people can say what they want. I think this movie still is held with high respect, but you know, I think as films get older, sometimes younger audiences might miss out on some things or what have you. But just them driving, true enough, just them driving, and as they start to approach the church, you got the music coming in, the Gregorian chant, and you know, eat us, I was like, oh crap, and you see the church. And well, we know what happens. You know, Damien, he starts to go off, and you know, again,
I loved even before when he went off, because he's sitting there, and the closer they get, he looks back at his mom like, "What the hell? You bringing me here?" And he like took it out on her, man.
Yes. So I mean, you know, those are some of the first signs as far as with him, you know, somewhere, and and it's like, uh-oh. But one of my favorite scenes, and I have quite a few favorite scenes in this movie, but I love the zoo scene. And
oh my God, yes.
Man, look, man, when you got a bunch of damn baboons coming at you, it's like, no. And the scene was just great the way it was done. Again, Lee Remick was fantastic. I give a lot of credit to Harvey Stevens, who played Damien as well, man. He did what he had to do as well for a young actor.
Yes, I agree. I thought he was phenomenal in this. Yeah, absolutely.
And in this scene, and we do have some fun facts that we want to throw out at you guys, just to help out with some of our details. But in the baboon scene, Lee Remick was truly terrified because one of the officials from the zoo actually put the alpha baboon in the back of the car so that the baboons would attack the car, because at first they wouldn't attack the car. So you got all these baboons that are truly riled up and attacking the car because the alpha is in the back of the car. And Lee Remick was truly scared. Like, the looks on her face, that was some real shit. I mean, so I just thought that was fantastic stuff. Again, just realism in some of these older movies that are
you could tell that she was genuinely terrified.
Absolutely.
It was a great scene.
It was. But as we start to move forward in the story, and this is what was very interesting to me too, is that this is where the to me anyways, the movie kind of took a little bit of a turn, and it took a turn for the better. This is about halfway through the film, and then you start to get more into David Warner's character, who's playing Jennings, the photographer. By the way, fun fact, I know a lot of the people in the chat have heard me say this, but David Warner was originally cast to play Freddy Krueger. Okay, so I just want to throw that out there, especially for people. Yeah, he was Freddy. He was Freddy. And they casted him, and he had scheduling conflicts and so forth, so he had to pull out of the role.
Wow.
And that's
Thank
how
God.
well, yeah, but again, David Warner is a great actor.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm glad Robert got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he pulled out, and that opened the door for Robert, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But at this point in the movie, we start to really spend time with him. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He's developing the pictures. He's seeing the signs. He knows what's up. And then
and there was a picture that he developed of himself, and he saw that he had a gash in his picture too, so he knew his time was limited also. So yeah, he wanted to get to the bottom of shit, definitely.
Yes. And so him and Robert basically, they team up. That's the bottom line. So the second half of the movie really turns out to be kind of like trying to unravel this mystery with David Warner and Gregory Peck, and I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, but before that too, you had poor Kathy, who was pruning the plants, and you had Damien because she was pregnant and she wanted an abortion, and Robert there was like, no, I wanted this baby, because obviously she had no idea that, anyway, it's just tragic that, this poor lady went through hell with this kid who she thought was hers. And he like crashes into her and she ends up losing the baby. And
and that scene with the fall, I love the way they did the scene. I forgot exactly. I had seen a documentary on this a long time ago, but I forgot how they filmed it. But it was like some type of reverse camera thing going on, because when she fell, it just looked weird, like otherworldly, like almost, not slow mo, but it was a great scene. It was
a scary fall. Yeah, that was. It was
absolutely. Real quick in the chat, because I am way behind on these guys, so I apologize, but we're gonna keep on rocking with this. Eric saying, I always thought it was the jackal skeleton and not a dog's, because isn't there a Bible quote about the Antichrist being born from a jackal? Yes. We will definitely, And we've got Brian in the chat. Holy moly. What's going on, Brian? Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thank you. All right. Let's see what else we got. Eric saying this movie is a lot like the original Halloween. It's the music that makes it creepy, although Damien does a better job than Michael without music, if you ask me. It's true. Yes.
He was great.
Yes.
Those stares, I mean, those looks, like, you knew. And I mean, when poor Kathy is telling Robert there that I'm afraid of my son, it's like, wow, this is crazy shit. This poor woman's scared of her kid. She doesn't even think it's hers, the fact that she has this feeling, and that scene when he's like playing in behind her with the pool balls and stuff and doing his little noises, and she's like annoyed with them. That look he gave her there, you knew right then and there, that was before he crashed into her, that it was done. You know what I mean? So,
Trenchy saying, I didn't know that the alpha was in the back. That's crazy. Yeah, man. It was some crazy stuff. And credit to Little Harvey and also to Lee Remick. Let's see. Agoraphobe is saying David Warner played Jack the Ripper in Time After Time with Malcolm McDowell and Mary Steenburgen, and it's a really good movie for whoever's never watched it. No, that is a good one. Absolutely. Yeah. But so we're at this point now where, Robert and Jennings are trying to figure out what's going on. and they're going on the
They
road.
go to Bugenhagen. Yeah.
Well, and before they do that, they go to the hospital. Yeah, they go to the hospital. They travel to Rome. They go to the hospital, and they find out that everything burned. And I'm like, oh man! And they're like, well, did anyone survive? And this and that. And,
records. There's gotta be records somewhere.
Yeah. So they go and see the priest, the priest who set this whole damn thing in motion, and he's all messed up, and he's fallen from grace, he's fallen from Christ, and so forth. And he basically, the only thing he tells them is where to go. And again, they're just getting these little breadcrumbs. And I really thought that was cool, because as a viewer, especially the first time, I'm just like, man, this is crazy. This is really, really crazy. And again, credit to both of these actors. David Warner was amazing in this co-starring role, because he's connecting the dots, and that's when they figure out. Yeah, and that's when they figure out the poem that we referenced in the beginning of this episode, when the Jews return to Zion. And so they're putting it together. But I got to talk about the cemetery scene. I know you love this scene too. This scene was so awesome. The atmosphere, just at the point of the story. I just love this scene. It was crazy. They open up, the casket, and they see the bones. And man,
see the jackal,
creepy as shit. I'm like, oh my!
And you even hoped, when Robert was like, hopefully there's an animal in this grave, and my child is alive somewhere. Yeah, it was to see that big hole in that little tiny skull. It's like, those bastards, they got what they deserved,
Yeah, man. Yeah. But what made it even worse is that they're figuring the shit out, but the dogs are there, the hellhounds are there, and it's my god, man, they're trying to run and they're having trouble doing it and all this type of stuff. And I'm just, again, this story is just hitting you in a lot of different ways, and I really appreciated it. It was very, very good.
It was.
Real quick in the chat too, we got Patrick, who has come into the chat saying hello. What's going on? Let's see. Drake was saying, no kid is creepier than the kid from Burial Ground. Neon Black says, Damien is creepy as hell, but I still think Bob from The Beyond is creepier. Or you mean House by the Cemetery? Yeah, if you I know what you meant. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could.
I think Damien's creepier, man.
Yeah, because
and that music didn't help,
It didn't, man.
You're right.
It didn't.
And those looks he'd give you, it's like, damn, you're fucked.
Right.
Yeah.
Gore says she doesn't seem like a very good mother, in my opinion. At one point, she just wants the nanny to take him away all the time. Well, you got to realize too.
That was towards the end when she's like scared of the kid.
Right, and you got to realize too. These guys are, well off. This is par for the course for those folks. Having a nanny to always kind of cover all the edges of bringing up a child. At least in my opinion, that's how I look at it. Brian was saying, maybe without having a big star like Gregory Peck, you can't finance a film of this magnitude. Yeah, there's truth to that. But they also had a few other people that they were looking to cast in the role. They also were thinking of Charlton Heston, Dick Van Dyke, Roy Scheider, and also, this is one for you, Coriander, William Holden, who played the brother in part 2. And guess why William Holden didn't get the part? He said he didn't want to be involved with a movie that was, basically talking about satanic stuff. So
I don't blame him.
Well, but the irony of it is that
happened with this movie. So
the irony of it though is that he took the role in part 2 though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe it was more money. I don't know. But Frank was saying, sorry, I'm not more active in the chat. I'm watching you guys while I'm driving, but you're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Oh,
Thanks. Thanks a lot, man. Be careful driving, man.
Right.
But,
jeez.
But yeah, so, they escaped the cemetery. And the other part that was really, really messed up is that we got to talk about Kathy, because Kathy's still in the hospital.
Yeah.
And, you know, once again, your favorite character, Mrs. Baylock, comes to the hospital.
Yeah, before that, you got Robert calling on the phone saying, "Hey, look, I want you here with me.
Yes.
You're safer with here. Get yourself ready." And because she was even like a little hesitant about it. And it's, man, but go ahead.
No, I mean, you know, Mrs. Baylock, once again, scores the home run. And unfortunately, and it was sad too, man, because, you know, I really liked Lee Remick in this movie, but Kathy dies. But at this point,
for poor Robert, because
I did.
You know, they really loved each other.
They did.
And he was crushed. I mean, when he found out, it was wow,
and that's,
man.
And that's exactly what I'm about to reference, because he was laying on the bed, and Jennings, David Warner, comes into the room. You know, maybe he went to do something there at a hotel or whatever. And Robert is turned away from Jennings, just laying there. And again, my opinion, Gregory Peck was awesome in this movie. I mean, obviously he's a legendary actor. Okay. He's just laying there, and Jennings is like, "Well, what's wrong?" And he said, "Kathy is dead." And David Warner played it good too, because he has this look of shock on his face. And he's like, Gregory Peck's like, "Kathy is dead. I want Damien to die too." And I was like, oh man.
You could feel his pain.
Yes.
I mean, you could feel it. Yeah. It was intense.
Again, just one of those great moments, man. Real quick in the chat, let's see. Patrick saying The Omen was one of the last big studio releases with a major name cast. Yeah, all right. And we got Jamie in the chat. What's going on? Saying hello. Hey. How you doing? Welcome to the chat. Thank you for stopping by. We really appreciate it. Gorephobe is saying it was before she was scared of him when she claimed to have a headache a lot. It's around the time that they go to the zoo, not long after they hire the nanny. Yeah, again, I just think it's the way that, you know, people that were well off like that, how they lived, especially politician families. I could be wrong about it though, but I just think that they're not used to being full-time parents 100% of the time. You know, right. That's the way I took it anyways. But same. Yeah, so then, as you've been referencing, and I know you wanted to get to this part, they go to Bugenhagen, my man. Yes. I don't know, man. Sometimes there's some movies where certain characters, even if they're small little bit characters, I just like seeing them, or they just catch me. They have a charisma. And Bugenhagen was one of those characters, because he didn't even really say much at first. He says to Gregory Peck, he says, "The little priest is dead, isn't he?" And Gregory Peck was like, "Yes." And then Bugenhagen's like, "Right, let's go." You know, because he knows.
He knew, knows, it was time. Yep.
Yes. So, you know, again, you've got this part of the movie, the second half of the movie, where Gregory Peck and David Warner are on a mission, basically, to unravel this mystery. And they're going to this guy, this quasi exorcist guy. And all the pieces are starting to come together. And, you know, Bugenhagen basically tells Gregory Peck, "You're going to have to kill the child." And there are these daggers that he has to use, these spiritual daggers that will attack Damien's spiritual essence and his physical essence and all that type of stuff. So it's like, damn, this is pretty dark. I mean,
yeah. And not only that, but he had to stab him, you know, in just the certain places. And it's like, wow.
Yes. I'm like, what is going on here, man? But anyway.
And even Gregory Peck, you know, when he left was like that. He's like, he wants me to kill a child, you know, and he throws him. It's like, wow, dude. Yeah.
Again,
crazy shit.
Again, Gregory Peck, I do know justice to it, but I loved his acting. He's like, he wants me to kill a child. What if it's wrong? Yeah. You know, he throws the daggers. David Warner is like, well, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. And as soon as he said that, I was like, no, David, don't say it out loud. We come to the final destination moment, because this effect, I thought it was fantastic. Well, I really do think Final Destination really got inspiration from the Omen movies. I don't know that for sure. Maybe I'll research it when we get to the Omen Part 2. But this, I mean, come on, man, the truck, the guy gets out of the truck starts to move, then it stops at a certain point.
It rolls on its own,
yeah, on its own, so the glass can come out, and man, see you later, David Warner. I mean, it was like, wow. But the scene was done so well, and it was done in a classy way, which, again, this movie is very high class. But that's when Gregory Peck is like, all right, gotta kill a kid. I gotta kill a kid.
He's gonna look for the birthmark. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's another creepy scene. He's looking for the birthmark and he finds it. And once again, in for the save, your girl, Mrs. Baylock. And I'm like, damn, this. And of course, Bugenhagen also told Gregory Peck she's quite just the disciple. Yeah. She's a disciple of the devil. So she's gonna do what she's gotta do.
Takes. Yeah.
So, but it was a great scene because they struggle, they fight. He stabs her. He had to deal with the hellhound and all that type of stuff. And then he takes Damien into the car and he heads off like a bolt. He's going so fast that the guardsmen think something is wrong when he leaves his own damn house. So
if he played it cool, he could have got it done. He could have, there wouldn't have been a 2 and 3.
Right? Absolutely. Real quick, too, in the chat, I'm going to catch up to these guys if I can. Let's see. Patrick saying, talk about hiding in plain sight. Damien growing up Republican. Oh, jeez, man. God. All right, Patrick. Jamie saying, I'm being a YouTube social butterfly tonight, trying to stop into as many streams to leave likes as I can. I'll be appearing on the Slacker cast in about an hour and a half. Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate you stopping by and appreciate the support and stuff. And definitely we'll be supporting you as well because you have a great channel too. Trenchy says, I love how the quest is doomed from the start. Either they're going to prison or probably will be taken out by the devil eventually. A lose situation. Yeah. Yes. And that's a great point.
Yeah. He killed his mom. So why wouldn't he kill his father too?
Exactly.
So definitely.
Yeah. Gorophobe saying people get down on Damien, the Omen Part 2, but I've always liked it. We did
Same
too.
Here.
And when we have that
love 1 and 2.
Yeah, we had a fantastic discussion about it before, and I think it's going to be another great one because, as Trenchy might remember, and I always remember this because Trenchy has followed us from the beginning, and Trenchy would go back to old videos months and months in our backlog and watch them, and not only comment about them, but talk about them. It's like, dude, you really watched the whole thing. But Trenchy really enjoyed that conversation. But Trenchy is awesome. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, he is. Right.
But he loved our banter back and forth because we had a little bit of a disagreement, but we'll get to that when we talk about the movie. Jamie says David Warner's death is fantastic in The Omen. Yeah, it is.
It's the best one.
Yeah. Brian says the same thing. He loves the decapitation scene. Absolutely. It was just so well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an execution, that's for sure.
Yeah. Gore says Gregory Peck is a legend. Remember to kill a mockingbird. Fantastic. Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yep, no doubt. Brian says, how is the Omen remake? There was a remake, right? There was, and we will definitely get into that. All I can say is they tried to do some things. They definitely showed some respect to it, but they missed some marks. But we'll definitely get into the remake at some point soon. Trenchy saying, I haven't seen the sequels, but watching you guys go at it was hilarious. It was fun, man. It was fun. We appreciate that, Trenchy. Jamie saying, The Omen 2 is an underrated sequel. I enjoy it as much as the original. Yeah, I love it.
It's a great movie.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't know if I love it more than the original, but I do love it.
Same.
Neon Black saying the remake is better than Omen 4. I can't really say I disagree, although I haven't seen Omen 4 in so long.
I don't know if I've ever seen Omen 4, so yeah, I don't know what you're talking about there.
But at the end, Robert is at the church and he brings Damien there. He's got the daggers. He's ready to go to town. And again, Gregory Peck, little moments, just just little moments where he hesitated for a second as the cops got there. You got the little
not
moment.
only that, where he's like, "No, Daddy,"
Yes.
and it's like, "Oh no."
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, "Please, Daddy, no." And I'm like, "Damn, this kid is kind of cute."
Turned his head so we can't even see his face, and that's when he was gonna do it. And man.
Yes, and that was it. But when the cop shoots, you don't know exactly what's going on. And again, we're all into spoilers anyways. But at the end, when they show the funeral, there are 2 caskets. So you're like, oh shit, they killed Robert, and Robert killed Damien. And again, the way this movie was done, fantastic stuff, because you don't know. And they show the funeral, and all of a sudden there's a person standing with a lady, and this guy comes up to him, looks like Secret Service, and says, "Mr. President, are you ready to go? Your car is here." And he's like, "Yeah, in a minute, I'll be right there." And then all of a sudden, from his head and shoulders and her head and shoulders, the camera just pans down. And sure enough, look
He's
at that.
giving you that
look at him. He's looking at you like,
that
yeah.
Smirk. Yeah,
Man.
One family down. You know, let's move up. Move up in the rankings.
Harvey was so good, one of the creepiest kids of all time. But it was a great ending, and it was earned. It was earned. I talk about that a lot. It was an earned ending, and I really, really enjoyed it. And it's like, oh crap, he's still alive. The Antichrist is still alive. This is crazy shit. But absolutely. Let's see. In the chat, as we start to wrap up a little bit, we got Junebug. My man Junebug's in the chat. What's up, brother? Saying The Omen is actually my favorite horror movie, and it's because of Gregory Peck's performance and with his nice guy image, brains for humanity to a dark subject matter. Yeah, man, Gregory Peck was awesome in this movie, man. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Well, it's sad why he took the role too.
And I'll be getting to that too. Jamie's saying, is The Omen 4 the one with Sam Neill? No, Sam Neill. No,
that's the 3rd one. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. All right, I think you guys are caught up. But let's get to that fun fact. I'll put this one up for you, Coriander, if you want to read this one. But a really good fun fact about why Gregory Peck took this role.
Yeah, he accepted the role of a tortured father conflicted with guilt because he wasn't around when his son committed suicide in 1975.
Yeah, man. Crazy stuff. Tragic stuff. It really is.
So he brought real pain that you could feel to this role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was almost like he was taking this time to like mourn his child. It was crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It was sad. Another fun fact too is that they had problems with Mrs. Baylock's ominous dog. And I guess part of it was he was a really nice dog. He was, licking them and wanted to play with them, and he wasn't really threatening. So they really had to do different things to kind of get him riled up a little bit and to make him more mean. Isn't that funny?
And think it is. And when you first see the dog and he just gives the first nanny that look, I just thought, that's more of like a playful look. You know what I mean? Because I just thought, it was
absolutely. It was. It was like, oh my God. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm good with the chat. Yeah, Agoraphobe was saying that Sam Neill's in Omen 3. Brian was saying, oh my God, that's so sad. Yeah, it was sad. Yeah. Junebug talking about that too. He took a hiatus from acting because of it, and they gave it to him because the man needed to work. Yeah. Absolutely. Very, very sad. Let's see. What else we got here? Brian was saying there's a special documentary on The Omen on Shudder, a horror streaming site, on a documentary called Cursed Films. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Crazy shit went down with this film. Yeah, man.
It really did.
Yeah.
Another fun fact we've got is that there was a different title for the movie. And I never knew this. I've been a fan of this movie since I was like 6 or 7 years old when I first saw it, thanks to my parents. But the original title for the movie was The Birthmark. I can understand why, they're saying that, but it doesn't have that same punch as The Omen. Like when I was a kid, just saying the name of this movie would sometimes freak me out.
Right, but could you
right?
imagine the birthmark? It's like,
Right.
what? I
Because
don't know.
you wouldn't really get it until you watched it, and even then it's not punching at you. But when you say The Omen, even before you watched it,
man.
it's like, oh man, this is bad news.
You know, right?
Another one, Damien wasn't the original name. Originally, the name was going to be Domlin. And I'm so glad that it's Damien, because that just doesn't sound right.
Right? Yeah, Domlin. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Sounds like, a little gremlin type of thing, No.
Yeah, they might as well just call them Gizmo. It's like, nah, that wouldn't have worked, would it?
No. Oh my god.
We got one more too. Entertainment Weekly ranked this movie as the 14th scariest movie of all time, which man, it's definitely got a lot of creepiness to it. It's definitely got great atmosphere. I love the atmosphere in this movie. And it did really well, man. It had 86% Rotten Tomato score on a budget of $2.8 million. It grossed $61 million. And at one point, Richard Donner said that it made so much money, more money than they ever thought they'd make, that Fox actually had extra money that they gave to George Lucas so that he could finish Star Wars.
Nice.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Also, with this whole money thing, like Gregory Peck, he got like so much money. I can't remember how much he was paid, but they said that he could also get part of the profit to this movie, which made him like the highest paid actor in a movie like ever. Cause it was like, he got, I don't know. I can't remember how much, but it was a ton. Yeah.
Wow. Cool. Yeah. All right. Wow.
Right.
Trenchy says Domlin. Is that Irish or something? I don't know.
Maybe that kind of sounds Irish, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Trenchy's always on it, man. You're the best, Trenchy.
Right.
Brian was saying, nice fact about Lucas finishing Star Wars night. Yeah, and to be quite honest, I did not know that before. I did not even know that when we did our original discussion on this. So that's the thing about doing these episodes. I love learning things about movies, especially movies that I cherish. And that's one of the fun things about doing these discussions and reviews. It really is. But it was a great movie. There's the late great one himself, Richard Donner, who again,
hats off to the man.
Yeah, man. I mean, and if you guys came in late, you don't have to, but I did do a little tribute to Richard Donner in the beginning of the stream. It was something that it really meant a lot to me. And I know it meant a lot to you, Coriander, and also to Killian. Yeah, it was nice to see it because, again, if you're of a certain age in our generation, maybe a little bit younger, guaranteed that you've probably, if not loved Richard Donner movies, you know about them because he just did so many great movies from multiple genres.
Classics,
Yeah. I mean, from multiple genres, he was as good in kids' movies as he was in a horror movie like this. So he was really, really awesome.
Extremely
so
talented.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you get a chance, check out the beginning of the episode. There was a little Richard Donner tribute. I think at some point I'm going to upload it on its own so that if people want to check it out, they can just watch that. And if they're not wanting to watch this whole episode, but anyways, as we finish out, I'll just catch up in the chat here. Looks like you guys are just hanging out here. Brian saying you learn new things from everyone on the internet, right, Knight? Absolutely, man. I've learned a lot from you guys too.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. Trenchy saying it's just Damien is more common and doesn't stick out, so I think it worked better. Yeah, that was the name to
Definitely.
go with. There's no doubt. Junebug saying he was one of my favorite directors, and it's sad that we just don't have directors like that to make you believe Americans can fly. Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Eric saying that tribute was so good, Knight. I think you should maybe also upload it as its own video. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, man, because I don't want to sound weird about it, but things like that, and back on the old channel when we did a Robin Williams tribute, which we will do that again. Sometimes I just watch that just for the memories, again, these movies, obviously we love movies, and I love talking about movies, and especially these movies that mean a lot. It's good memories. It really
Takes you
is.
back to being a kid with your family,
Yeah.
and you were just innocent and young and naive and didn't know what the world had in store for you.
Yeah.
It's great.
Trenchy saying the tribute was epic. Thank you, Trenchy. We really appreciate
Yeah,
that. Junebug said, let's celebrate the fact that Richard Donner made it to 91 years old. Not many people can say that. Soon circling,
right?
sad. Let's celebrate that he made it to be 91. Absolutely.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Gore saying we keep losing all the old greats. Not many of them left, it seems. Absolutely, man. And that's why, it's another reason why I love doing this type of stuff, to just kind of talk about these things, enjoy these moments, enjoy these artists, these actors, the people behind the scenes, these directors.
Yeah, man.
It's just
incredible.
Great stuff. Absolutely. So anyways, guys, that's about all we have. Definitely, if you can give us a like, that's great. If you can comment on the video, that's great. But probably more important, just keep talking about movies, guys. Keep enjoying movies. And like I said, a tribute to Richard Donner, most well-deserved. He was amazing. So I'll just leave it at that. But we will catch you guys tomorrow, and so that'll be fun. Brian saying to keep it alive, Knight. Yes, indeed. Nice job. Thank you, Gore. We appreciate that. And Patrick saying, as long as you don't cover Superman 4. we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see. And Junebug, last thing we're going to say, what was on the internet never dies. And so doing these tributes in a weird way makes it like if they were alive again. I agree.
Yeah.
Jamie saying, great show. I'm glad I caught you live. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. This is fun, and we're glad that you were able to catch us. Hope you can catch us again. We do go live 4 times a week. So
sometimes more.
Sometimes more, but we have fun with it. So, again, RIP to Richard Donner, and we will catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out, guys.
Up church.